Hey everyone, today we're diving into an important topic for all the seniors out there. What if I told you that some of the foods you've been refrigerating could actually last longer and taste better if you left them out? That's right, we're about to uncover 9 foods you should never refrigerate and why. Stick around. First up, let's talk about tomatoes. While it's true that refrigeration can help prevent spoilage for very ripe tomatoes, it can actually do more harm than good for tomatoes that are still firm. Tomatoes are at their most flavorful and juiciest when they're allowed to ripen at room temperature. The cold temperature of your refrigerator can slow down the ripening process and prevent those flavors from developing fully. Not only that, but the cold can also break down the cell walls inside the tomato, leading to a mealy, watery texture. So, what's the best way to store your tomatoes? If your tomatoes are still green or just starting to turn red, the best place for them is on your countertop. Find a cool, dry spot away from direct sunlight, and they'll continue to ripen to perfection. Once they're nice and ripe, you can enjoy them right away or store them at room temperature for a few more days. Next up, we have a food that's a staple in many households: bread. Refrigeration is actually one of the worst things you can do to your bread. The cold, dry air inside your refrigerator can speed up the staling process. Bread is made up of starch molecules, and when these molecules are exposed to cold temperatures, they tend to bond together more tightly. This results in that hard, dry texture that we all know and dread. So, what's the best way to keep your bread fresh and soft? Store it at room temperature. Find a cool, dry place in your kitchen, like a bread box or a pantry, and keep your bread stored in its original packaging or in a resealable bag. If you've got a loaf of bread that you know you won't be able to finish within a few days, you can freeze it. Just make sure to wrap it tightly in plastic wrap, and then again in aluminum foil to prevent freezer burn. Let's move on to another kitchen staple: potatoes. You might be tempted to store your potatoes in the refrigerator thinking that the cold temperature will help to keep them fresh for longer. But in reality, refrigerating potatoes can actually do more harm than good. Potatoes contain a type of starch that converts to sugar when exposed to cold temperatures. This can result in a change in taste, with your potatoes developing an unpleasantly sweet flavor. The cold can also alter the texture of your potatoes, making them mealy or even mushy when cooked. The key is to keep them in a cool, dark, and well-ventilated place. A cool, dark pantry or a vegetable basket in a cool corner of your kitchen works perfectly. Avoid storing your potatoes near onions, as onions release a gas that can speed up the sprouting process in potatoes. Onions, those pungent bulbs that add so much flavor to our cooking, are another food that you should think twice about refrigerating. Refrigeration can actually turn your onions into a mushy mess. When stored in the refrigerator, the cold, moist environment can cause your onions to become soft and moldy. The low humidity in the refrigerator can also dry them out, making them lose their flavor and aroma. The best place for them is in a cool, dark, and well-ventilated area. A pantry, cellar, or even a cool, dry cupboard works well. Just make sure to keep them away from direct sunlight and heat sources. Onions release a gas called ethylene that can speed up the ripening and eventual spoilage of other produce. So it's best to store your onions separately. Garlic, the aromatic bulb that adds a punch of flavor to countless dishes, is another food that's best kept out of the refrigerator. Garlic bulbs are sensitive to moisture, and the humid environment of your refrigerator can create the perfect breeding ground for mold and mildew. When garlic becomes moldy, it not only loses its flavor but can also pose a health risk. The key is to keep it in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place. A mesh bag or a basket in a cool, dark pantry or cupboard is ideal. Avoid storing garlic in plastic bags, as this can trap in moisture and lead to spoilage. If you have a large bulb of garlic and don't plan on using it all at once, you can separate the cloves and store them individually. Honey, nature's liquid gold, is a pantry staple that's been enjoyed for centuries for its unique flavor and health benefits. But did you know that refrigerating honey can actually diminish its quality and make it lose its natural goodness? Honey is naturally acidic, with a low water content and high sugar concentration. These properties make it naturally resistant to bacterial growth, which means it has an incredibly long shelf life. When you refrigerate honey, the cold temperature can cause it to crystallize. Crystallization is a natural process that occurs when the sugar molecules in honey start to bond together. While crystallized honey is still safe to eat, it can become grainy and difficult to spread. So, what's the best way to store your honey? Keep it at room temperature. Find a cool, dark place in your pantry or cupboard and store your honey in an airtight container. This will help to preserve its flavor, texture, and natural goodness for years to come. Coffee, the beloved beverage that fuels our mornings and keeps us going throughout the day, is another food that's best kept out of the refrigerator. Coffee beans are porous and readily absorb moisture and odors from their surroundings. The humid environment of your refrigerator can introduce unwanted moisture to your coffee, making it taste bland and stale. The refrigerator is also home to a variety of other foods with strong odors, and your coffee beans can easily absorb these unwanted aromas, affecting their flavor profile. The key is to keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dark, and dry place. A pantry or a cupboard away from direct sunlight, heat, and moisture is ideal. Avoid storing your coffee near strong-smelling foods to prevent it from absorbing unwanted odors. If you buy coffee beans in bulk, you can freeze a portion of them to preserve their freshness for longer. Just make sure to store them in an airtight container or freezer bag to prevent freezer burn. Avocados, those creamy, nutrient-rich fruits that have become a dietary staple for many, are another food that should be kept out of the refrigerator, at least until they're ripe. Refrigerating avocados before they're ripe can actually hinder the ripening process and prevent them from reaching their full flavor potential. Avocados ripen best at room temperature. When stored on the counter, they're exposed to ethylene gas, a naturally occurring plant hormone that triggers the ripening process. Refrigeration, on the other hand, slows down ethylene production, which can prevent your avocados from ripening properly. If your avocados are still hard and green, keep them at room temperature until they yield to gentle pressure. Once they're ripe, you can store them in the refrigerator for a few days to slow down further ripening and extend their shelf life. To speed up the ripening process, you can place your unripe avocados in a paper bag with a banana or an apple. These fruits release ethylene gas, which will help to ripen your avocados more quickly. Last but not least, let's talk about bananas, those convenient and potassium-rich fruits that are a staple in many households. While it might seem like a good idea to refrigerate bananas to prevent them from over-ripening, refrigeration can actually do more harm than good. Bananas are tropical fruits that are sensitive to cold temperatures. When exposed to temperatures below 56 degrees Fahrenheit, the enzymes that help bananas ripen are inhibited, and the cell walls in the fruit begin to break down. This can result in a change in texture, with your bananas becoming mushy and unappetizing. The ideal temperature for storing bananas is between 60 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Find a cool, dry spot in your kitchen, away from direct sunlight and heat sources, and store your bananas at room temperature. You can hang them on a banana hook, keep them in a fruit basket, or simply leave them on the counter. If you want to slow down the ripening process, you can wrap the stems of your bananas in plastic wrap. This will help to trap the ethylene gas that's naturally released from the stems, which can help to keep your bananas fresh for longer. I hope you found these tips on foods you should never refrigerate helpful. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more health and wellness tips. Stay safe and see you in the next video.